Hello and welcome. You're watching News Unlocked. Our special series this week is focusing on the state of the economy. Remember, the GDP numbers for Q1 that were released on Monday showed that the Indian economy was contracting at a rate which was its worst ever since these calculations began in 1996, a 23.9% contraction in Q1. This was, of course, the quarter that was worst affected by COVID, April to June. But what is increasingly clear is many small businesses in particular are being badly hit. In fact, it is the unorganized sector, the informal sector that accounts for around 30% of the GDP that is particularly being badly hit by the economic slowdown, dare I say recession. Today we are going to focus on that with politicians from both the major parties, the government and the opposition, with the opposition making the GDP numbers an important issue to target the Modi government. But is it an act of God, as the government claims, or is it an act of government that is responsible for the economic slowdown? That's the question that we are going to raise on the News Unlocked. Let's start then by doing that, looking at that special story that looks at the state of the unorganized sector in COVID times. Take a look.
Micro, small and medium enterprises, mostly spread out over the informal sector, is the second largest block employer in India. At the beginning of 2020, the sector employed 120 million Indians and accounted for 45% of the country's exports. But today, it is one of the worst hit sectors post the COVID-19 pandemic. The issues like manpower crunch, lack of cash flows and low demand now plague the sector.
Already the industries, traders, all the firms, we are struggling with the financial crisis and totally we are in damaged condition.
A Tier 3 city like Aligarh is dependent on its small-scale industries like lock manufacturing and brass works. Before lockdown, Aligarh's daily trade transactions were close to 800 crores. Now they need help.
लेबर पहले से कम करनी पड़ी क्योंकि हमें सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का पालन करना है फैक्ट्री पे। पहले जैसे मेरा यहाँ पैकिंग का भी काम रहता है, मशीन भी लगी हुई है मेरे पास, तो जैसे सपोज करिए पहले 10-12 लोग थे, अब 4-5 लोग ही काम कर रहे हैं। तो इफेक्ट पड़ा है, लेबर भी कम हुई है फैक्ट्री में और काम पे भी बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्ट पड़ा है।
In Moradabad, better known as the Brass City, the situation remains grim. The small businesses had barely managed to recover from demonetization and GST implementation when the pandemic struck.
जब से ये नोटबंदी आई है 4 साल से, या उसके बाद जीएसटी का हमारे ऊपर दबाव बना, अब जीएसटी में चक्कर क्या है, हम लोग जो रॉ मटेरियल लेते हैं उसका हाई हो गया है क्योंकि 18% जीएसटी के दायरे में आ गई। पहले 5% वैट हुआ करता था उस पर सिर्फ। अब ये क्यों कोविड का, अब उसको हम झेल ही रहे थे जीएसटी को, 18% जीएसटी से, क्योंकि एकदम इसे स्लैब को बढ़ा दिया जीएसटी के दायरे में लाके। अब ये लग गया कोविड-19, जब से लॉकडाउन लगा तब से बहुत बुरा हाल है।
To tide over the crisis, the government in May announced measures like credit guarantees for MSMEs and regulatory changes to prevent bankruptcies. But the package failed to lift the mood, like this sword maker from Punjab explains.
कोरोना वायरस करके काफ़ी फर्क पिया सानू, तकरीबन 70% काम साडा घटिया। पहले तो इस तरह किसी ने बनानी होवे कृपान ते खुद आ जांदा सीगा। हुण ये आ कि जिहड़े चलो लागे बन्ने वाले भी बहुत घट आउंदे ने, पर फोन ते गलबात होंदी रहिंदी है, कहंदे सी थोड़ा कोरोना करके मुश्किल आई है।
Following a complete 3-month lockdown, the country is now in unlock mode, but the small businesses continue to suffer. The findings of a survey by the Federation of MSMEs in May 2020 paint a grim picture. 62% units going in for job cuts, 78% of the units opting for salary cuts, and 77% in dire need of emergency funding.
So clearly it is the unorganized informal sector that is hurting the most. In fact, many analysts believe that the contraction in the informal sector is even greater than that in the formal sector. Remember, manufacturing down by 39%, construction is down by 50%. This, of course, is the April to June quarter-to-quarter figures. Not surprisingly then, the opposition is targeting the government precisely on this particular issue. They are claiming that this is the issue where the government has in a way given a triple whammy. It started with Notbandi, it then went to GST, and now it is what has happened in the pandemic. Rahul Gandhi in particular seems to have made this his calling card, releasing a series of videos starting yesterday with the economy the focus. Let's just listen in to what Rahul Gandhi had to say to the Modi government.
पिछले 6 साल से बीजेपी की सरकार ने असंगठित अर्थव्यवस्था पर आक्रमण किया है। नोटबंदी, गलत जीएसटी और लॉकडाउन, इन तीनों का लक्ष्य हमारी इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर को खत्म करने का है। प्रधानमंत्री जी को अगर सरकार चलानी है, मीडिया की जरूरत है, मार्केटिंग की जरूरत है। मीडिया और मार्केटिंग 15-20 लोग करते हैं। इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर में पैसा है, लाखों करोड़ रुपए, जिसको ये लोग छू नहीं सकते, इसको ये लोग तोड़ना चाहते हैं। आपको ठगा जा रहा है और आपको गुलाम बनाने की कोशिश की जा रही है। हमें इस आक्रमण को पहचानना पड़ेगा और पूरे देश को मिलकर इसके खिलाफ लड़ना पड़ेगा।
So how bad really is it on the ground? Let's just try and decode the GDP numbers that have created such a consternation. Take a look.
India's GDP contracts 23.9% in the April-June quarter of 2020, the worst ever in 24 years, since India first started recording its quarterly GDP figures.
This is along expected lines because what we are going through is an exogenous shock globally. The pandemic has affected the economic fortunes across the world.
The only sector which managed to survive the slump was agriculture, which registered a growth of 3.4%, while the manufacturing sector contracted by 39.3%. Mining saw a contraction of 23.3%, and construction has been the worst hit sector, which contracted by 50%.
0.24% of GDP growth is the worst that India has ever reported since we began recording quarterly GDP growth in 1996. So this makes the April-June quarter of 2020 the worst in 24 years. Now, considering that July-September quarter has been as bad, if not worse, than the April-June quarter, this clearly indicates that we are well and truly into recession, although we will know this formally only when the July-September quarter numbers are disclosed at the end of November.
This is one of the biggest contractions amongst major economies after the COVID pandemic hit. In the corresponding quarter in the last financial year, the Indian economy had registered growth at a rate of 5%, while in the previous quarter, that is quarter 4, financial year 2019-20, India's GDP growth rate was 3.1%.
Let's then go to our political face-off this evening. I'm joined by Narendra Taneja of the BJP, Gaurav Ballabh of the Congress. Appreciate both of you joining us. Let's look at those numbers now. Narendra Taneja, Gaurav Ballabh, both of you are seen as among the economic pundits of your party. Narendra Taneja, do you concede that the figures show that the informal sector is even hurting much more than one could have imagined? Most analysts believe that this is the sector with the maximum, where the maximum number of job losses are taking place, where businesses are being destroyed. Construction declining at 50%, manufacturing 39.3%. How do you respond when the opposition says the government has failed in its lockdown strategy?
Well, they can, I mean, they're entitled to their views. I don't dispute that. But the point here is that here we're talking of the quarter, you know, when India was attacked by the pandemic. Not only India, the entire world was attacked. So when we were attacked, we had to first protect life. And, you know, the factories had to be shut down, railways had to be shut down, aeroplanes had shut down, even, you know, anchors were forced to work out of home. And practically the entire economic, social, even political life to very great extent had to be shut down. World over, that's what happened. It's a world phenomenon. It's like once in a century event. Now, if you really want to say
it's
that...
It's a world phenomenon, I concede, but the contraction of the Indian economy is much greater than other economies. I concede it's a global phenomenon, Mr. Taneja, but the contraction has been much greater in the context of India.
Well, it depends, you know, Rajdeep, because the constructive economy differs from country to country, geography to geography. There are developed country, there are semi-developed country, there are emerging country, there are developing country, there are underdeveloped country. There's so many categories. So when we say that, for instance, the United States, it may look like they contracted only by $3 trillion contraction. $3 trillion, imagine, the same size as the Indian economy. So it depends from economy to if you want to compare. But when it comes to India, we had absolutely no alternative. I mean, I don't want to go what you have that's been saying it's an act of God and all that. The country was under attack, and the country is still under attack. Even you are doing your show from your home and not from your studio, just to give you an example. So Rajdeep, this is but at the same time, politicians, if you want to just focus on that and you want to say basically this is what happened, this happened due to these factors. And as he said, these kind of things happen once in a century, once in lifetime, you know, sometime in once in a lifetime, even in a So the question is that, have we addressed the issues or not? That's the most important thing. And the answer is we have.
Okay, let's come to that. Let's come to specifics. Have you addressed the issue? Gaurav Ballabh, Rahul Gandhi says that the Modi government has failed to address the concerns, especially of small-scale industries. First Notebandi, then GST, and then the pandemic. What would you do that Narendra Modi didn't do? What would the Congress have done in the context of the pandemic? What would you have done to cushion the impact on industry and on economic activity?
Rajdeep, I just want to start with where Mr. Taneja concluded. Taneja Saab, in year 2016-17, our GDP growth as per Government of India data was 8.3%. And for the year 2019-20, it is 4.2%. Why there is a contraction of this 50%? There was no corona. There was no corona in 17, 18, 19, 20. Till 31st March, there was no corona impact. Why our GDP fell from 8.3% to 4.2%? Then he gave me an example of United States. Problem is not contraction, Taneja Saab. Problem is that United States is creating jobs. And I can give you a data. In the month of June to 2020, they had created new jobs 48 lakh. In the month of July 2020, they had created a new jobs of 18 lakh. So where are our jobs? And on the other side, from April till date, we had lost 1 crore 89 lakh salaried class people who were having a pakka job, permanent job. We had lost permanent jobs. Now coming to your question, Rajdeep, that what we might have done. The problem is that right now neither public expenditure is picking up because government is not releasing funds to the states, nor private investment is picking up because 76% of capital formation in our country is either household investments or private investment. Household investment is not picking because there is uncertainty about job. Either people are losing the job or there is a salary cut across the sector, and private investment is not picking up because our head of the state is busy in feeding the peacocks. Had you seen any meeting of our Prime Minister addressing the issues of manufacturing sector or the core sector in last 1 year? You can see the pictures feeding peacock. You can see him talking about the breed of Indian dogs, but he is not talking about
forget the pictures of the
Prime. He's not talking about the manufacturing sector,
the
which optics, is down by 39.3%.
Professor Ballabh, what would you... No, give me a concrete solution. The Prime Minister may, according to you, be guilty of wrong optics by feeding peacocks. Give me one concrete solution that you would do to revive these private investment, for example. What would you do?
Rajdeep, you have to transfer money in the accounts of the people who are losing the job if they are in middle class society. If our workers had moved from cities to the villages, you have to transfer direct cash transfer in their accounts. You have to give positivity to them, because when you will transfer a money, then the demand will be generated in the market, the consumption will go up, and to cater the new consumption, the new employment opportunities will come. But you are not listening. MSME is not asking for loan mela from you. They are asking for a cash support. Had you addressed cash support issue to them? Had you addressed that what is the core issue of the manufacturing sector, that they are not getting the labor? Had you addressed those issues? Because problem is that, Rajdeep, that you are not at all understanding. It started with the act of Nehru, because first 4 or 5 years you blamed Nehru. Then you entered Act of People, because last year, if you remember, Rajdeep, if you ask Finance Minister that why car sales is coming down, she will say that millennials had changed the habits. Then Act of People, if you ask Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, he will say that box office bumper hits pictures are going on. There is no recession. There is no problem of unemployment. So Act of Nehru to Act of People to Act of God. Now problem is that you have to say Act of Government.
Okay, you made your point. You're saying 1 minute. Gaurav Ballabh, you made your point. Let me turn to Narendra Taneja. You know, the sense is that there is a huge demand-driven consumption crisis. There's a crisis of demand, there's a crisis of consumption, which has not been addressed till now. Now, yesterday when I spoke to the chief economic advisor, he said, look, the future is uncertain. Merely putting money in people's pockets at a time like this when economic activity is not revived may not be enough. But the question is, what is the government's plan to revive the economic cycle? When it comes to states, they seem to be starved of revenues at the moment. When it comes to private investment, they seem reluctant to invest in this uncertain climate. Where is the government's big idea to revive investment, to revive demand?
You see, first of all, despite the pandemic, fundamentals of our economy, structures of the economy are absolutely intact and very safe and doing fine. You just have to, go by, I don't want to give a lecture on a monologue. You see, you just have to go by cold facts, Rajdeep. Just look at, for instance, certain indicators. Look at power consumption. Has power consumption gone up, the last 2-3 months? The answer is yes. It's almost now, almost 85%, almost back to normal. Look at petrol and diesel consumption. Again, like about 83 to 86%. The same, look at, for instance, the freight being carried by trucks and also by the Indian Railways. Again, getting almost back to normal. You see, and you can go similarly for number of other factors. Look at, for instance, FDI. FDI, even, during the period of pandemic, it has gone up. Look at hard currency reserves. When it comes to this thing, the Congress has got only one mantra. That's called the Rahul Gandhi School of Economics. Rahul Gandhi School of Economics is only one thing. Put money, take a helicopter, go, there and start throwing cash. And that will solve all the problem. It's not going to solve the problem, even if, for instance, if you go by Rahul Gandhi formula, which he took to the people of India, the so-called Nyaya scheme, and the people rejected it. People voted for us. Now, the point is, even, for instance, if we are looking only on the demand side, it's not enough to look at the demand side. You have to look at the supply side. When we had to shut down the factories, you also have to bring the production back. That means you have to take care of the supply side also. At the same time, demand side. A demand side also, you just can't look at only the kind of demand with the conventional demand in the urban areas, demand in the rural areas. So we are addressing. That's why
even that is not happening. No, Mr. Taneja, even the supply lines which have been disrupted because of the lockdown and the unlockdowns and then re-lockdowns have not been restored. So supply lines have not been fully restored, and demand is not picking up. This creates the perfect storm.
Let me answer. Just bear with me, Rajdeep. If I go by you, that manufacturing is not happening, demand is not happening, factories are, then the trains are carrying you go to any railway station, just look at the number of freight trains. What are they carrying? Air or water? Certainly not. Freight. Look at the trucks, for instance, the road. Just step out of your house and look at the number of trucks on the highways these days. Demand power. If power demand is back to 85%, where is that power going? If industries are not using, then where is exactly that power is going? The same goes for instance, transactions. The same goes for, toll tax and all that. We have to, we can always, if I were in the opposition, I have no complaint with my friend from the Congress party.
So
Probably
you're
I would
saying
have
the
been doing
worst
the
is
same.
over.
You have to go.
You're saying, Mr. Taneja, the worst is over. Let Gaurav Ballabh respond. Gaurav Ballabh, the GDP figures came for April to June. There are some signs in. Just a minute, sir. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
I just saying, worst is over, and if you look at the current quarters is much better. Indicators are good, and when you look at the quarter that will follow, that's by end of the Christmas time, Diwali time. We are going to get back to almost normal. I'm not saying that is all over. I'm just saying challenges still ahead. It still depends, for instance, how coronavirus is going to behave. But there is a lot of light at the end of the tunnel, and we look at the end of the tunnel and the plenty of light that we see, we are quite optimistic.
You're quite optimistic. Let Gaurav Ballabh respond. The V-shaped recovery. Do you see the V-shaped recovery and possibly second quarter being much better than the first? Some signs, some green shoots of recovery. Agriculture is doing well as per even the quarter one numbers. Could all of that spark off a recovery?
See, Rajdeep, agriculture is doing good because of two reasons. Act of Bhagwan Indradev and act of Congress because of Manrega. There is no other reason for rural economy or agriculture sector showing the positive sign. Coming to the issues which Mr. Taneja had raised, he's telling that I'm not going to work on the Rahul Gandhi School of Economics. Are you going to work on Nirmala Madam's School of Economics? प्याज के दाम क्यों बढ़े? मैं कांदे नहीं खाती. Are you going to work on Ravi Shankar Prasad ji's School of Economics? That पिक्चरों के बम्पर सेल हो रही है, इसलिए कोई मंदी नहीं है. Do you believe in that School of Economics? What Nyay Yojana is saying? Nyay Yojana is promoted by Nobel laureate like Amartya Sen Saab, like a world-renowned economist like Raghuram Rajan Saab. Don't say that this is something we don't want because this is Rahul Gandhi's School of Economics. This is Indian School of Economics. This is not Kande Khan Main Nahi Khati School of Economics. Second point, he mentioned that supply side we are targeting supply side. Rajdeep, why there is a contradiction between what Mr. Taneja is saying and what yesterday results were out by the Ministry of Statistics? Why there is a contradiction? Because there is a contraction of core sector by 9.6%. Then where is supply side improving? Neither demand side is growing nor supply side is growing. Only thing is that your optics, your peacocks, your...
No, that is AMJ. That's April, May, June. Gaurav Ballabh, the figures were quarter one. The figures that were given yesterday were quarter one. What the government is suggesting is that the figures for July, August, September will be better. There are some green shoots of recovery. Power consumption, for example, is increasing.
So green shoots has to substantiated with the data. What kind of data you are suggesting? In comparison to the quarter two of financial year 1920, are you saying that power consumption is increasing? It's increased based in comparison to the quarter one, that is the last quarter. Why are you not comparing quarter two of FY20 with the quarter two of FY21? Then only green shoots are going to appear. You see, don't mislead the people. People want a positivity in the economy. People want your plan for the jobs. People want your plan for the manufacturing sector. People want service sector is also dipping down. There is a contraction of 20.2% in the service sector, which was a pioneer sector, which was a flagship sector of our economy. What you are doing? Are you catering to their problems, their issues? You are busy in something else. Problem is that you are not listening what MSME requires. MSME requires direct cash transfers. You are saying that if I will transfer, the people will say that you had accepted Rahul Gandhi's suggestion. Right now, country is in a distress and you are talking about politics. That Rahul Gandhi ji की बात नहीं माननी है. राहुल गांधी जी को छोड़ दीजिए, आप न्याय योजना का नाम कर दीजिए दीनदयाल उपाध्याय न्याय योजना. हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, पर लोगों के हाथों में पैसे डालिए सर. आपको राहुल गांधी जी से तकलीफ है ना, उसका नाम चेंज कर पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय न्याय योजना. I am okay with that, but give money in the hands of the people and don't give these silly ideas कि मैं प्याज नहीं खाती.
Give money.
उबर और ओला की वजह से गाड़ियों की सेल कम हो गई है, फिल्मों की बम्पर सेल हो रही है.
Okay, let me. Gaurav Ballabh, you are on a roll. Gaurav Ballabh, you are on a roll. At the end of the day, in conclusion, Narendra Taneja, is the government getting out of denial mode? At least have the Monday's numbers force the government out of denial mode. It's time to accept and get a little real.
Rajdeep, who is in denial mode? How can you be in denial mode in democracy? You can't be. Every day you have to interact with the people. When it comes to economics, the ordinary Indian understands economics better than anyone else, better than me and Gaurav. You see, you have to understand, and my friend Gaurav is saying this thing, if that is the case, you were so concerned about the poor, how come 67% people didn't have bank account when we came to power? How come you see majority of people didn't have access to clean fuel? How come majority of people didn't have access to electricity? So don't give lectures just because Amartya Sen, I also respect him, but that does mean that under Amartya Sen, you will do all these. That's not how it works. I was expecting more cold facts from Mr. Gaurav, from you, and not rhetoric. You mentioned peacock 5 times. Peacock was declared national bird by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India. When you say that, you make fun of peacock, you're insulting him. Don't insult Pandit Nehru. It's not fair. He was India's first Prime Minister.
Okay.
We all need to respect him.
See,
don't try to insult him.
When we are talking about economics,
don't do that.
He entered into the national bird issue.
So don't
that is
do
the
that.
problem.
This is what it is.
This will now become... My worry with doing...
What is his plan for job creation?
Rhetoric has no space, Gaurav. Don't insult Peacock.
Taneja ji, what is your plan for job creation?
Don't do that.
How jobs are going to be created in the economy?
Let me answer it.
I am asking you how jobs are
Let me answer this very question, Rajdeep.
And the second thing, Taneja ji, please let me allow.
Gentlemen, I only have, unfortunately, so much of time today. I have only so much of time. I gave both of you equal time. I have run completely out of time. I wanted concrete solutions. At the moment, the Congress seems to be suggesting direct cash transfers is the solution. The government of the day seems to be suggesting things are getting better on the ground. Give us a little bit more time. In the end, we leave it to, well, you the viewer to decide what is the right direction in which the economy should be heading. Remember, right through this week, EcoShock 2020, our continuing focus on the state of the economy. On Wednesday night, we will be looking at the job crisis with experts on that show. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Stay well, stay safe.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.